Everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the fabulously talented and gorgeous actress, director, writer, Hannah Levine. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. So last time.
So nice that you're back with memory loss.
So I'm going to introduce you.
I remember.
I asked a clarification about Jimmy and Ron, who was who, just to be clear, and now I'm being punished for trying to have clarity.
Don't you remember being on our show? You were on our show before.
No, I was, but I feel like there were quite a few people, though it is when I was promoting a film, Blood Brothers, and we had a few different people in the chat, and then were both of you guys as well, and I just never actually got a, hey, this is Jimmy, this is Ron, and then, you know, I'm
teasing you because, you know, but you are very pretty, beautiful. The face is...
Well, you guys are looking very handsome as well.
We're not young and beautiful.
So I'm going to introduce you officially, since this is your solo trip on the show.
Right.
And last time there was 4 other people or 3 other people. So first, let me introduce you to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
No. My name is Hannah. Her name is Ron.
I'm Jimmy Star. We want to welcome you to the show. We also have someone you can't see, the man behind the boards, Mr. Chad Murphy. So say hi to Chad.
Hi, Chad.
Hi, Hannah. Welcome back. Good to have you.
He works all the goody stuff. Without Chad, we would be nowhere.
Oh, that's right.
So
and then we have a chat
room.
Wait
a minute. He's getting married on Saturday. So
Sunday.
So we're sending our condolences.
And best wishes, of course.
Did that before you came on
She's
anyway.
So sweet and cute. You know, I remember her from the last time.
Hang on.
I liked you. And I remember
I'm glad I had you fooled, Ron.
Yes, So we have a chat room full of people. Literally, we have like Germany, the UK, Canada,
Australia.
We have
4.5 million.
I don't know if we have anybody from Australia, but we have almost all the countries. We do get a lot of Australians, actually.
Yes, we do have somebody. No, we do have someone from Australia.
Who? Oh, Tristan. I don't know if I don't see Tristan.
Tristan's from Australia. He's from Sydney.
So where are you at?
So we have a whole bunch of people in the chat room. So just say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, everybody. Now, thank you for listening.
Since we saw you, all kinds of stuff's been happening for you. I mean, you're like rocketing up to superstardom. You are.
Pretty soon you're gonna TV shows. Pretty soon you're gonna be.
I thought she was in movies.
No, she's in movies too. But last time we had her on, you guys, she was coming on for the movie Blood Brothers, that she was in, and we also had Barbara Crampton on the show, which we love Barbara Crampton, and a couple other people. It was a fun show. Now we have her on herself, and this is a funny story, Hannah, because first of all, you guys, Hannah's in The Magicians, and I'll tell you what.
I love that show.
I started watching The Magicians primarily because Charles Shaughnessy was in it, even though he's only in
my gosh!
Because
I worked with him.
We interviewed him.
We had him on the show, and so since he was on the show, I watched the show because he was coming on the show.
And he's a sweetie on our show. He was very sweet.
Yeah, we got
I bet. Lovely man.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
Lovely.
So listen though, so we're like watching TV the other night, and I have to admit, I have not caught up to all of season 3 yet, so I haven't seen it all. But which I apologize, but everybody needs to watch The Magicians because it is a badass show. So the other night though, this is like 2 weeks ago, before we knew you were coming on the show. We're flipping through the channels, and I see you on the screen with Marla. What's her name?
Marlee Matlin.
Marlee Matlin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's all the dialogue is going on because you can't hear. You know, you guys are talking and everything. And I'm looking. I was like, oh, that's Hannah. She was on our show before. And she was on our show before, and that's the show that Charles Shaughnessy's on. And then
what's this?
Made a discovery, aren't we all excited?
No, because then like 2 days later, I got an email saying, "Hey, you know, like that," because that was a really big episode that we didn't watch the whole. I only watched like 10 minutes of it, so we have to go back and I have to. I've only seen. I haven't seen all season 3, so we have to go back to it anyway.
Hannah is so reminding me of Angie, Angelina Jolie, by the way.
Oh.
I know her, Angie.
Okay.
I know her.
I'll take it, guys.
Had dark hair. There's something about your expressions of your face, because Angie makes these very interesting expressions when she works, but in real life also when she talks. There's very little difference between Angie in real life and film. She's basically the same facial expressions in both life and I think you're the same way, because watching your work, I'm seeing you now as you are. So you're one of the actresses that don't become a character. You're like a Cary Grant. You know, Cary Grant was Cary Grant all the time. You know who Cary Grant is? No.
Well, I do. I don't know that I've seen all his films, but I definitely do know.
There are some people
Superstar.
that keep their characteristics forever, and that's a good thing because that's what the audience falls in love with. We don't like change.
I think I know what you're saying, and I do think that's true sometimes. I do also think that, especially in television, because it moves so fast, that they are generally casting you because of an essence that you have or a quality that you have that is easily adaptable to that character. But then there are sometimes you get a challenge, like what I got to do on Blood Brothers, where I played two different characters in the same film, and one of them was someone much more natural and close to me, and the other was Vanity, who was kind of like a prostitute character, very almost like something out of the main character's imaginations in a way. And that, whilst that had some challenges to it, it also kind of had other parts of my own personality in there that maybe don't come out every day. You know what I mean?
Sometimes the quality of the voice, like Michelle how do you say her last name?
Dockery.
Michelle Dockery, who was from Abington.
Downtown Abbey,
whatever.
Yep.
Michelle played a great lady, but the facial expressions and the voice, because I'm madly in love with her. I totally adore her to death. She's like one of the greatest actresses of our day, as you are, and as many of our friends are. But now she's playing a prostitute, shoplifter, murderer, vulgar woman who's on drugs and has a black child. Now that character as a lady,
have you seen Good Behavior?
Good Behavior.
No.
Oh my God, you have to see it. It's a great show.
See Good Behavior. Michelle.
Okay, yeah.
Michelle does a job that nobody could possibly do. Her American accent is not only American, but it's American Brooklyn or American Manhattan. I mean, it's just so different. Her performances, but no matter what she does, those wonderful expressions when she was a lady are still in this. And that's why I'm crazy about her. I love her voice. Voice.
Oh, interesting. Well, no, I think that's a really interesting point you're making, and it's probably subconscious in some ways why we do fall in love with certain actors, because maybe they do have this essence or facial expressions or whatever you want to call it that we see throughout all their roles. And
your expressions, your expressions are so beautiful because they're not animated. They're soft expressions. Like right now, you look like Goldie Hawn's daughter. What's her name?
Okay,
that smile.
I'll take that too, Rom. I just need you to walk around with me every day.
No. Listen. If you were an ugly elephant, I couldn't possibly say these things because people would put me away in a home for old people. They'd say Ron Russell has gone.
You're so kind. I'm sending you like.
No, but it's true. It's true. I only express what I see.
So hold on. So first of all, because I love the Australian accent. And I have to say, I haven't seen everything. Like, I didn't see you in your episodes of Supernatural. We do have Chad Lindbergh, who used to be in Supernatural, and he's a really good friend of ours. And
we love
awesome.
Chad.
Yeah.
We love him.
He's on the show a lot.
He's crazy.
But do you always have an Australian accent, or do you have like an American voice?
No, I rarely act with my Australian accent anymore. So yeah, if you watch The Magicians,
you don't have an English accent.
No, I generally always am speaking American.
I love it.
Sometimes I play British, but not often Australian, especially not in the last couple of years.
You do Brooklyn, New York.
I could do it if I learned it, but off the top of my head, I'd be like Brooklyn, New York. I don't even know if that's right, but it's probably just inventing some kind of accent.
No, wait. Here's what you have. I'm from Brooklyn. Here's what you have to say. I says to her the other day. Forget about it. Now there you go. You could play a girl from Brooklyn. See how wonderful you are.
But yeah, so I don't use Australian accent generally on the American shows I've been working on. I am playing American, and for those who haven't watched season 3 of The Magicians, when my character Victoria does make her big entry, it was pretty funny because I swear quite a lot, and a lot of my American friends were like, "Oh my God, it's so funny to hear you swearing in an American accent." And I was like, excuse me, I feel like Australians could swear in any accent. Like, Australians
exactly.
We are known to be a little on the crude side for sure.
We had a little thing the other day on Facebook between Sam. What's Sam's last name? Sam Stevens, who's the new hot singing star. He said about a good friend of ours, Eileen, who's a very big journalist, writes for all the newspapers. He said, for a woman that's a journalist, you said you speak American. He said there's no such thing as the language of American. Now, he's wrong because we don't have a language here. There's no legal language in our country. They are trying to pass it as English, but it never was. That's why people can speak Hispanic, write their advertising of their store in Hispanic, as well as Asians. America is a country without a language of a country.
Actually, I'm from Florida. In Miami, the official language is Spanish. It's
Yeah.
not English.
So when I say I speak American, and people say no, it's English. I said no. A trolley is a truck. When you start to call a trolley a truck, then I'm speaking English. But when I speak American, there are thousands of words. Ain't is an American word. There are many words that Americans say that English don't. So the same thing with what are we talking about? I forgot.
I don't know.
You said earlier.
Tristan, though, is in the chat room. Just so you know, Tristan from Australia is in the chat room now.
Say hi to
Tristan.
Say
hi, Tristan.
Represent. Hi, Tristan. Thank you for listening.
You gotta love it.
Tristan, how are you, baby? We haven't heard from you in a while.
I think first of all, I want to say though, I think it's really cool because since the last time, I mean, you have a lot of shorts and you have a lot of kind of cool indie credits and everything, but now you're like mainstream, like The Magician. That's like mainstream, super popular show. I watched a preview for Siren that comes out in March 20.
March 29th, which is actually so Siren is about mermaids. And March 29th is actually International Mermaid Day.
Gosh.
I didn't know there was.
So they timed that pretty well, and I expect you guys to dress up for the occasion.
Absolutely.
Send some photographic evidence.
Absolutely.
I have so many friends that are young, and they talk to me I'm Father Time, and they say, Ron, do you think I'm going to make it as an actress? And so many times I say to myself, never. But I won't say that to hurt their feelings. You know why? They don't have the personality, the looks, and the talent. You need all three. Otherwise, you go nowhere. I have judged beauty pageants when my daughter was runner-up in Miss America. I have been around a lot of talented women, like Angelina Jolie. When she was a baby, a little girl, she used to come to our house and play with my daughter Deirdre. And I asked her one time, because I knew her dad, John, well. I said, when you grow up, do you want to be an actress? And she went, I don't know. And then 2 minutes later, she was performing all over the living room. So Angie Voigt, as I know her, was an actress as a child. Mm-hmm. And that talent went. I see that in you, and I'm not blowing smoke up your wazoo. You have the looks, you have the personality, the sweetness, and definitely, I've seen you on film, the talent. Therefore, I'm going to put $10 bet on you that you're going to go to the Oscars one day.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's very funny.
Listen, I'm a witch. Don't tell me I'm a witch. I don't tell this to anybody. I've ever said this to anyone on the show? Never. You know who else is a friend of ours? My daughter Deirdre now went to school in Manhattan with Liv Tyler.
Okay.
And Liv would come to our apartment, and Deirdre got thrown out of private school for being a bad girl. And she was crying to Liv, and Liv said, come live with her. You can come share my bedroom. So, of course, that was their little escape thing, to escape the lecture she was going to get. But Liv is adorable.
Actually, hold on. Do you know who Liv Tyler is?
Yeah, John.
Steven Tyler's daughter.
Steven Tyler's daughter, the gorgeous actress. And I looked at her and I said, this girl is such a beautiful, those blue eyes, like Elizabeth Taylor, that jet black hair, that milk white skin. And another actress, she'd be in my apartment carrying on so you're going to make it.
So hold on, I want to go back though. She's right. You're right. I do think that you've got a lot going for you. Yeah. I think that in the United States we have a lot of great Australian actresses that have come over here and made such great actresses, and I'm hoping that you're going to follow in their footsteps. You definitely have the looks and the talent. I realize everything also has a little bit to do with.
No, if you don't have looks,
people
there's a
Listen,
lot that's out of people's hands, and yeah, I mean, The Magicians was great because I had done season 1 with them, and then especially having done season 1 and then coming back in season 3, a show in its first season, it's finding its feet. There's so many
thanks.
there's so many directions it could go in. People don't know what it is yet. The fans have, whether it's going to be successful, the fans are going to get on board, and so coming back on Magicians has been really awesome for that. And then of course Siren is a brand new show, so again, hopefully it will pick up a following, and certainly they've got a great cast and some great writers on there, and it looks awesome. And I think the scripts are great too. So yeah, there are so many variables out of your hands. Like you can get a job as an actor and the show just disappears, or they replace you, or so many things.
This show that we're on. Jimmy, when I joined this show, it was a little radio show in Florida. And now we're the number one, what are we?
Web show
in the world.
I
And
saw that when I was
wait a minute. We have over 4.5 million people, maybe 5 by now that come in. Thousands of fans. For what? For what? I tell Jimmy, the show stinks. I mean, it's me babbling like a crazy old fuck, and Jimmy, and I fighting. I said, what is so great about this show? I can't believe it. That's what happens in this crazy business.
So hold on, I want to go back.
You never know what's going to be. Listen, there are many stars that I know, the old 1940s stars, like Betty Davis. I knew her. And she turned down a lot of movies because she said, no, the script was a piece of shit. I wouldn't do it. Just like that. She had a dirty mouth, Betty. And I wouldn't. And meanwhile, it turned out to be an Academy Award performance for the next actress that took it. So sometimes you got to take a crappy script. Because
look, I mean, I think you can definitely see from my IMDb that I've worked on like a huge variety of projects. And I definitely, a couple of years ago, and as you say, you notice I started working a lot more in American TV. And that was a kind of a decision on my part to really focus on the kinds of things I wanted to be doing. And I'm a filmmaker as well, so I have my own tastes. And, I think I think that was also starting to really come through for me. Like, I want to be a bit more selective about what I am working on, and
you can, as you get out there more, you can be a little.
How big are you in Australia? Are you a big name in Australia or more in America?
I don't know. I mean, in Australia, I think I've been away quite a while now, like 7 years.
Oh, forget it.
And I haven't worked on an Australian film pretty much that whole time. So I know back there, like certainly I went through drama school there, and people know that I'm over here working. But, I mean, I'm not doing anything in Australia right now.
So your fans are basically American and all over?
I think more international, yeah. And some of the shows I'm on don't air in Australia like that. They don't get The Magicians.
You're kidding. What a way. What a sin.
I don't know if they get Colony either, which I'm on season 3 of that. But I am in Unreal season 4, and Australia gets that. So they've been very excited about season 4, which isn't actually coming out for a while still yet, but and Supernatural they were very excited about. When it's something that they know and have on their networks there, then they are, I mean, they're always amazingly supportive. Australia is very, I think, proud of their exports of people that go away and do things.
Sure.
And there's a big group of Aussies in America working and doing so well. So
I think our biggest Australian guest, I think that we had Guy Sebastian.
the
X
pop
Factor
star,
or Pop Star, whatever, and we also had one of the guys from Lord of the Rings. I forgot who it was, but we've had a lot of people from Australia, because when they're in Australia, they're like, because you guys, they're like so far ahead of us, like when they do our show in the afternoon, they have to get up at like 4 a.m. or something to do it. So so I'm always very happy like when they do it and everything. But also though, like, because I've been watching some of your stuff over time, not even knowing it was you, because like Bill Oberst is a friend of ours, and you did a movie, Children of Sorrow, with him.
Yeah.
And he's a phenomenal actor. He's really, really terrific. And I noticed that the show Colony, I have not seen that show, but I looked on IMDb, and it's like a who's who of American television stars. I mean, like literally, you have like every cool star possible is in that show. I was like, what a cast, to be working with all those people. Has to be, first of all, has to be amazing. What is Colony about? I don't even know what it's about.
So Colony, the third season's about to start airing in the spring, and that's spring in North America, not Australia, North America. Northern Hemisphere is what I meant. Basically, so yeah, there've been 2 seasons so far. It stars Josh Holloway and Sarah Callies from Walking Dead. Amazing, along with Tori Kittles, and there are some other fantastic actors in the main cast. And basically, the premise is that aliens take over part of the U.S. and part of the world.
Oh, now you're talking about my kind of show.
Yeah, you probably it's great.
I love that
and then
stuff.
They basically, it becomes a bit of a government involvement, and kind of what you would imagine when the world goes to chaos. Government steps in and tries to control things, and people retaliate against that, and we're not sure how involved the government actually are in what's happened with the alien invasion. So it's a really great, I think, analysis in a way, and the series is getting stronger and stronger of what would happen in that situation, and who would you trust, and families turning against each other. And it centers on this main family with Josh and Sarah playing the parents. And yeah, they're just fantastic actors, and I love, like, you know, I've been on a variety of different shows. I've worked with a lot of main cast on shows, and one thing, I also had a similar experience on the show Reverie that I did, the pilot for NBC, which is airing sometime this year on NBC. When you work with a cast that are, you know, that have been in the industry for a long time, they're really established, like Sarah Shahi, who plays the lead in Reverie, like, they've total pros, you know. They've been doing this for so long. They've been on so many shows. You just feel like you're working with the best, you know.
Well, that's what happens when you are good. If you're not good, a lot of those stars, they want to know who you are. You know, what's your resume? What have you done? And then a lot of the stars of years ago would interview. Betty Davis, again, talking about her. Betty Davis interviewed every male co-star. And if he was a powerful man like Clark Gable, he couldn't work with her because Betty was the star and she was the power pack. So every man she worked with was sort of a humble kind of stupid guy that she could push around.
Well, I definitely am not like that. Like, I love working with the best because you have to step up to their level.
Absolutely. That's like Jessica Parker now fighting with, what's her name?
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall. They hated each other on that show, Sex and the City. They absolutely despised one another. Couldn't bear to be in the same room, but they had to. That's good acting because you never knew it. The audience never saw it.
No, I didn't know that. And I
think yes. It's all over the press here in America.
She's in America. She's in L.A.
Oh, no, in L.A.
Oh, yeah. Are you in L.A. or are you in Canada?
No, right now. No, I'm actually in Vancouver, Canada. I go to L.A. Last time I spoke to you guys, I was in L.A. I go fairly regularly. I'm going to New York tomorrow.
That's where we just moved from.
All right, so if you go to lunch anywhere in LA, this is the big topic conversation. If you go to the
talk to people, hey,
just go to the Ivy and you'll hear all the waiters talking about it.
But yeah, basically, it's amazing getting to work with younger casts that are, you know, more newly in the industry, learning the ropes, all of that. And, you know, I consider myself to be in there as well. I'm still learning so much. And then it's also really amazing on some of the shows I've got to be on, like Colony, where the cast, you know, they're just totally seasoned, been doing it forever. And it just, you know, it's such an awesome experience stepping into that world too.
Colony is so amazing. It has Carl Weathers.
Why aren't I watching it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it either.
Is it on television?
Well, seasons 1 and 2, and anyone in the chat room says
we get it on
seasons
Roku?
1 and 2 are now on Netflix, so you can watch both of them.
Can we get that on Roku or wherever?
On Netflix.
The hell do I know? Netflix.
1 and 2 are on Netflix.
Can you put it on?
It's got Carl Weathers, and it has Kathy Baker, who played the mom in Picket Fence. It has everybody.
I don't care if it has Emperor Nero. I love the premise. You know, I'm a descendant of aliens. I always believe that. Seriously. Millions.
They're really writing about your forefathers.
Yes.
You know, people laugh about it, but do you ever watch Ancient Aliens, the TV show?
That's
my favorite show. And they have such proof that billions of years ago, there were people living on this planet. And then something happened when the planet got wiped off. But these people came from another planet. We are descendants of aliens. Prior to humanity on this planet, it was just animal. There are no humans. So
Anyway.
I firmly believe that that my DNA goes back to whatever planet we came from. So I love this show.
He will like Colony.
I
think
will
he
love it.
like
I will
it.
be your
Yeah.
biggest fan. I will write about you on Facebook all the time because I love you.
Well, but your episodes aren't coming out yet. They're coming out later this year, right?
So yeah, season 3
I'll see
starts
them.
in the spring. They just there's a new trailer out right now that looks so good. And yeah, they're saying, I know Josh Holloway is saying it's going to be their best season yet. So
you guys remember Josh Holloway was from the what were they playing? Lost. Yeah, what a great show. And he was the hunk on Lost. Yeah, he was the hunk.
But I'll push and promo you like crazy.
Okay, so hold on.
No,
I have questions because now you have a cool career, and right now you're in a lot of kind of sciencey fiction types of things, and you've done a lot of horror stuff. So would you watch horror movies if you weren't in horror movies?
No.
Is it something that you like?
The first horror film I ever did is actually a really awesome Australian film. It's a thriller horror, like a violent thriller. And it's called The Horseman, and anyone who likes action, violent horror films totally should watch it. Gosh, this was my first film out of drama school. It was a while ago. It played South by Southwest that year, which is a big independent film festival.
Big.
Now it's absolutely massive, and it did a ton of other festivals, Newport Beach, like London International, I think a few in Australia as well. It did really well and had distribution, which is big for an Aussie film. And that was the first horror-type film I'd ever done, so definitely worth watching that one. And then I just kind of got cast in a few after that, but I really actually love watching a good horror or thriller movie, when they're well made. And that's why it was so cool to work with Barbara Crampton, because she's done
icon. She's like horror icon.
Now, did you notice when she was speaking? I notice everything. When you were speaking, you said horror film, and your face absolutely did horror. I mean, your face is so
horror.
Deaf people could watch you and know what you're talking about by the expressions, and that is such a gift. Are you crazy?
Actually,
you know what that does on camera? That's half of your dialogue.
Well,
I mean, people that go on camera like this.
You have to rein it in,
like Jane Russell was a very good friend of mine. You know who Jane Russell is? The sexy movie star known for her brassiere. She played with Marilyn Monroe and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. A beautiful brunette, very famous woman, actress. She was the same in real life as on film. Tough, boring, and mean. And I loved her. She was my dearest friend. But her facial expression was always this.
I can't see you.
Oh, like
there
this.
There we go.
All the time.
I love horror movies.
But if she has a line like, I love my little girl, it would be, I love my little girl. And it worked for her because she was tough. She was a tough broad. So in any movie she made, she always played the dame, sexy, gorgeous thing that every guy tried to make. And she'd say, yeah, in your dreams, honey. That sort of a personality.
But there's
she sounds great.
There's two cool horror movies though, like from the UK, and one of them it has two versions.
What's the horror movie?
Now
she's beyond horror.
I'm
movie.
talking.
I don't give a shit.
I know, but let me talk.
She's beyond.
No, one of them it has the big guy, and he picks the people up at the park, and he drives them really far away. I forgot, and it's a very good one. There's another one called Rogue, I think, about this giant crocodile or whatever. That's a really good Australian horror film.
The only time you do a horror film in this business is when you're starting.
That's not true.
And when no one wants you anymore.
That's not true.
Yes,
I disagree with that because I just think a good film's a good film to me. And I don't care the genre.
I love the genre of horror, though. I think it's a great genre.
Jimmy.
I think horror can be too. I think horror can push boundaries. I think it. I really love some of the interviews I've been doing. They've been bringing up this change in horror with more female, strong characters and vigilantes, and I love that stuff. But
not
to me, it's always about the quality of the project.
Not isn't. I know if I read a resume and I see she did a lot of horror films and still is. She's a horror actress. She's a B actress. She's never going to the supreme place that this girl is now. Right now, she's major TV. So she has to forget the horror shit. The horror was cute when she was nobody.
Because you did Mega Shark and Mecha Shark. I mean, I like that. It's a dumb movie. I get it. It's a dumb movie. But it's a fun dumb movie.
They're fun. I mean,
it doesn't bring out her acting. She's not an actress in those films. She's just a person, a thing that's there that the animals eat. But as an actress,
yes, I know you do.
I value
squashed, kind of run over by the mecha
I value you by your acting. You are an actor, and that's what you must do best. Otherwise, get out of the business and go be a hooker or go be a waitress. But you have to be an actor, and you have
my plan Bs are not waitressing and street walking. Thank you.
Of course not.
No, but I do understand what you're saying. Like,
you're on 4 major shows. Stay there.
No, she's on like 5 or 6.
Oh, excuse me. You're on 10 major shows.
So what's your...
Stay there, because the next step, my darling, is starring and your name.
So hold on. So let's do bucket list.
And I want you to call me when this happens.
You'll be first on my list.
So hold on.
Seriously, that's you for it.
I want to do a bucket list. Okay, so this is Hannah Levine, everybody, and if you could like work with any, if you could work with any Hollywood male and female actors that you were going to co-star with, who would you
besides
like
me?
Who would you like to work that you have not had the opportunity to work with yet?
Well, I mean, so we've just had the Oscars, and I was a huge fan. I mean, so many amazing films, but I absolutely love Three Billboards. So, I mean, Sam Rockwell, Frances McDormand.
Yeah, fantastic.
I mean, Martin McDonough, who directed and wrote it. I've loved his plays for years, and he was a playwright, or I'm sure he still is writing plays, first, and brilliant. I also was a huge fan of Big Little Lies, the series, which is, of course, doing a season 2 with Meryl Streep. So, I mean, all those actresses are just incredible. Nicole Kidman, Laura Dern, Reese Witherspoon.
What a great show. That show was so great. I loved it.
Oh, so good. I actually binged the whole thing on the plane home to Australia at Christmas. Like
I binged the whole thing, too, and it was fantastic.
Didn't get the accolades it should have.
It did, though. It won Golden Globe.
But it ended up doing really, really well at the Globes.
Yeah, but I'm media, so I go by press. It didn't get the press it should have gotten. It got a lot of criticism.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it got a lot of criticism.
You're not thinking of the right show.
Yes, I'm talking about the girls, the 4 girls that one was married, and the blonde Witherspoon, whatever the whole name is. Yeah, I like that show.
Anyway,
I thought it was great.
It won every award, though.
Yeah, listen, they could win awards. It doesn't mean they get good press. A lot of films that got bombed press won Academy Awards. Remember that?
That's true, too.
So I just
I
read a lot of stuff about that film.
It's a TV series. It's not a film.
Well, it's a film still. Well, it's a film on TV.
Okay. So let's go to one other bucket list. If you could be in any movie that was ever made and you would have the lead role, what would be like a movie and you'd be like, oh, my gosh, now it says starring Hannah Levine on it. What movie? Past movie?
You know, the first thing that came to mind when you said that, and this is I don't know how this will sound, is actually the film Boys Don't Cry, which was Hilary Swank and Chloe Sevigny. Oh, incredible. And you know what? I'm a big fan, and both those actresses are incredible, and I follow Chloe Sevigny on Instagram. She's such an awesome woman. Not that I know her, but she just seems like such a cool,
very,
awesome...
very cool. I met her,
about?
Chloe Sevigny. I don't know how you pronounce
I said Sevigny. Sevigny's probably...
I don't actually know how you pronounce it, but she, because before I did television and radio, I was a celebrity clothing designer, and I had a really popular clothing line, and so did she. She had a clothing line called Imitation of Christ, and that's how I got to meet her and Tara Cardinal and some people. And so in the fashion world, she was really big for a while.
Yeah. She's always been so cool, right?
She's so eclectic. She does everything.
So alternative. I love her. And I actually forgot that she'd been nominated, I guess, Best Supporting Actress for Boys Don't Cry. And I forgot that till I saw something on her social media leading up to the Oscars. And I was like, oh, my God, I forgot she got nominated. But that movie was so I mean, what those actresses both, the places they go in that film. And it was just a small film at the time, and they just were incredible. Absolutely.
See, there, small film, good press, great film.
An Academy Award. I think.
Media can absolutely destroy an actress, actor, or a film.
So let's go over.
And that's sad because I don't care for that. I know lots of reporters in this business who have personal vendettas. Like, let's say I was at a party and you snubbed me. Well, you're dead.
I know. It's so hard sometimes.
Hannah who? Oh, that little thing from Australia, the thing that crawls underneath us, like down under. Oh, her? She's not going to go anywhere, please. She's nothing. She's a bleach blonde like everybody else. She looks like the girl next door. Who cares? We want seductive, sexy, Sophia Loren kind of people. That's what they do. The media
I mean, I think that's, with all the changing politics around the entertainment industry right now, I think people are feeling a bit more, well, I think women are feeling a little more safe to, stand up for themselves and have clearer boundaries about things. But I think for a long time, and still to this day, there's a fear of, am I going to offend this person? Am I going to offend? Can I say anything? Like,
don't worry about that.
we
you can
don't.
see he doesn't.
No.
Well, when you bring up the press and press talk, saying this or saying that, like, there's nothing worse than feeling like I can't even say something unless it gets misinterpreted, and then I get.
Hannah, I've been on this planet 77 years. I'll be on it 78 years in May, okay? I've earned the right to voice my opinion when I see I've been through 5 or 6 or 7 generations, 8 generations of people, of styles, of fashion, of vogue, of what's to do, what's to say, what's not to say, who's in, who's out, who's up, who's down. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. I am the best critic of what's going on today because I have foundation. And that
I've seen it.
80 decades.
80 years.
Or decades. 10 years to a decade.
What's that? 8 decades, not 8.
8 decades.
Looking good.
You see,
almost.
My mind,
80 decades because he's 800.
my mind is gone. My mind is gone. And now the fashion is, and I find it very exploitive, and I dislike it intensely, is everybody's loving African American people and pushing them. I find it very exploitive. I find a lot of. Well, diversity is one thing. Exploitation is another. Now they know that films with black actors and actresses bring in money, so now they're pushing that shit. They're not caring about the African people. They don't care about gay people. I'm gay. They don't care about me. And if I could make money in a movie, they'd put me naked, screwing a gorilla. Okay?
Well, money, yeah.
Chad laughing in the background there.
So we have to realize that today everybody's afraid to offend. Meanwhile, in their minds, when they're looking at you, they're saying, oh, look at this Australian bitch. Why doesn't she go back and
now he's just saying you as an example. I know, but
why doesn't she go, screw a kangaroo? What? I mean, stuff like that. And then they, darling, you look fabulous. I love you. And then silently, you little bitch, you're younger than I am. You look better than me. So saying what you think clears the air and lets people know where they stand and who they are. And that's what I let you know who I am to find out who you are. And I love who you are. You're a sweetie pie. You're in my book of sweet things.
Well, you're lovely too. And I can't believe you're 77. Put your face closer to the screen. That's impossible.
No. And everybody says to me, what do you do? I said, you know what I do? I don't wash my face ever with soap.
My girlfriend does the same thing.
Never. My mother died 80 looking 40. She never washed her face with soap. We use olive oil. Yeah. And of course, DMA, my friend owns a line of shit that you put on your face, and he sends it to me. Good stuff, too. But they're going to have a stroke when they hear me call the product shit. But anyway, it's a fabulous product.
DMK.
Janae Montague King. Everybody should really use it, and I do use it. But don't use soap. Soap and sun. Sun and soap will destroy your skin.
There you go.
So you guys, this is Hannah Levine, you guys.
Soap has lye in it. Would you put lye on your face?
No.
Think about it. Well, soap does, and so does perfumes and creams. You be careful of what you put on your face.
All right, everybody.
Olive oil is the best.
Okay, let's talk here. Let's stop with the face.
No, I got to do one more thing. When you go in the sun, put a little coat of olive oil. You will turn brown in 10 minutes without too much sun damage.
Interesting.
I'm Italian.
You see, I'm looking a little pale here.
I don't
know. No, I'm Italian. Why are you Italian?
Is it cold? If you're in Vancouver, it's freezing.
Interrupting me.
Well, you haven't let me talk.
I will. I'm going to give you the rest of the show.
She's done. She's got to go.
She doesn't have to go anywhere. She's having a good time. You're not going anywhere. You're having a fun.
I do have a little bit. I don't even know what the time is, but I know that we do
I told her 35 minutes.
No, she's having fun. She doesn't want to leave.
Okay, so
and I
anyway,
like her.
listen, stop. All right, everybody. So listen up, you guys. This is Hannah Levine. First of all, you guys, March 29th, Mermaid Day or whatever, is when Sirens comes out. You want to watch it? What network is Sirens on?
So Siren is on Freeform, which is the new ABC family.
Yes.
So same network that did Pretty Little Liars.
I love Pretty Little Liars.
Are you a mermaid?
You would have been good on Pretty Little Liars as somebody like.
Wait,
the
are you a
older sister.
mermaid on Mermaids?
Siren.
I can't say if I'm a mermaid or not, but I can say I play the character Janine, and I'm dating one of the fishermen played by a lovely actor, Curtis Lum, and I'm also friends of two of the main characters, Ben and Xander, who are played by Alex Amro and Ian Verdun. So, yeah, I'm kind of
into a mermaid.
Because the show hasn't come out.
all I can really say about my
Smart.
character on Siren. But she's a super fun character. I think you guys will like her.
So you
Okay,
guys
we'll
also
watch.
want to watch. You also want to watch Hannah in The Magicians. You guys, she plays Victoria. She's got a foul mouth, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's always fun to see a beautiful woman with a foul mouth. Colony season 3 is coming out later this year. Catch up on season 1 and 2 on Netflix. If you want to see cool horror films, watch Blood Brothers. If you want to see a cheesy but fun horror film, watch Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. You can see her on Supernatural. And you guys, she's on Instagram, and her Instagram is different than her Twitter. So she's trying to build her Instagram, you guys. So let's follow her on Twitter, on Instagram. It's Hannah Levine Official, but you guys, it's Levien. So
Still
it's
Levine.
It's my name.
HANNAHLEVIEN Official, and her Twitter is at Hannah Levine, which is HANNAHLEVIEN.
Now, for all the Snoopy people listening who are dying and saying, when is Ron going to ask her the question? Here it comes. Got a guy? Anybody lucky enough? Anyone?
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of.
Okay, kind of.
I'm open to you know, what's the word? Overtures. I'm open to overtures. Let's say
So
that.
what she's saying is she's single and she's looking.
No, she's saying she's got somebody, but if she finds somebody better.
What is my status?
Oh.
Her status is beautiful, and you guys can always make a pass and hit her up. And if it works, you know, it works. And if it doesn't, then oh well.
So all of you guys out there, she's single. Now fall in love.
She didn't say
never
she
said that.
Yeah, well, she's single. She's not married, so she's single.
Oh, okay. If you go under those terms, then you
Definitely
can
not
say that.
married.
No, she's going to marry well when she marries. She's not going to marry an actor either. She's going to marry
I bet
a
she
writer.
does. I bet she totally dates somebody in the entertainment
No,
industry.
she's gonna marry somebody that writes, a very famous writer. My intuition tells me.
Oh my
She
gosh! You know what? I feel like I'm in like a gypsy room because you've got the stars behind you right now. You
Oh,
could be telling me my
like
fortune.
put my turban on. But you're gonna marry a very famous screenwriter because you're gonna love him through his writing.
Oh wait! Before we let you go, too, I forgot because Hannah has some stuff. She wrote a short called Hunting Season, and she wrote another one called The Gift, where she's the writer and the director. Can people see the Hunting Season anywhere?
Hunting season's not finished yet, so we're in post production. We're just doing. It's actually partly why I'm going to New York. Our composer is in New York, so yeah, it's awesome. It's actually we were shot by the director of photography from The Magicians, and it looks awesome, and it's kind of fantasy-ish, a bit sci-fi, a little. But once it's finished, I'll send you guys the trailer.
Awesome. We'll play it.
And we'll play it for sure. You have beautiful eyebrows. You have them done or just grow that way naturally?
I did
Like
have them threaded recently, but I don't do a lot to them. I don't know. Yeah.
Good show.
Thank
everybody.
you.
So this is Hannah
Good
Levine, you guys. First of all, we want to thank Erica Timmerman from Snap Strategies for contacting us to have you on the show. Congratulations to you for all your recent and current successes, and I know there's going to be lots more coming. Anytime you have anything to promote, let us know. We'd love to bring you back. We think you're fabulous, and congratulations on all your
And
success.
I'm going to Facebook you. This way you could read all the stuff I write about you when I watch Colony every week.
Yes, please. I'd love to hear. I mean, it's always nice to hear what people think of the shows when they watch them, always.
Definitely.
You
I
got to
will.
love it. So, Hannah, thank you so much.
Thank you, my
Thank
sweet.
you both. You guys are
Ron,
awesome.
you're a pleasure
Bye.
and a
Enjoy
delight.
Palm Springs.
Yes,
Yes.
thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye, sweet. Bye. What a lovely girl. What
And
a
she's fabulous.
lovely, beautiful, lovely girl.
What'd you think, Chad?
Yeah, she is awesome. Beautiful inside and out, no doubt.